for more specific role, then talent planning is this term is used. Workforce planning is used as a broader manner. Means when we say that you're planning for future for 10 years or 5 years, so then we can use the term workforce plan. So workforce plan is basically a long-term planning for the employees. So from that we'll start the terms. So Alan Lacan says that planning is bridging the future into the present so that you can do something about it now. So what you understand from this quote? Anybody from you can interpret it and related to our workforce planning or manpower planning concept. Please, can anybody interpret this quote?
It's kind of estimation we do, and then probably then we prepare a rough route to go to that go in that direction to ensure we succeed in that.
Mhm. So there is one specific one word is used. Okay, if you carefully read this quote, planning is bringing the future into present. So what it means? It is mean by a more strategic way. What is a strategy? Can anybody define strategy means what? What is meant by strategy?
Structured approach.
Structured approach, okay. A systematic approach, you can say in another words. It is a systematic approach, okay. So strategy basically is nothing but you are implementing your plan in a structured manner, in a systematic way, okay, and you are approaching towards a goal or objective that you are preset. Okay, so the quote, this quote says that planning is bringing the future into present. Okay, so that you can do something about it now. So it's meaning that you are planning for future in a very structured way, in a systematic way. So you can implement it from now, and you can achieve your objective or your goal at a specific time of period that you have set prior. That is the meaning of this quote, which is given by Alan Lacan. So, it says about more than about workforce planning. So, related issues. Basically, I just quoted. I have taken it from one of the video lectures from YouTube. I like this slide more interesting, so that I've copy pasted it. I forgot to return the source below, but I confess it. I have taken it from somewhere else. So what is that? This two related issues about workforce planning is that how are company strategy and HR strategy related? So basically, when we talk about strategy, it's a systematic approach. Okay. So when we see there are two different strategy run side by side. One is business strategy, another one is corporate strategy. Okay, another one is divisional strategy, departmental strategy. Okay, so what are this strategy? Can you just differentiate between corporate strategy and business strategy with example? Anybody of you, can you differentiate between corporate strategy and business strategy? Okay, I just forgot to appoint today's volunteers who will summarize my session at the end. Please give me two names fast.
Sir, me, Ranjit.
Sorry, Ranjit. Ranjit.
Ranjit.
Okay, another name, please. Give me fast. Please volunteer one more name for today's summarize. Who will summarize my session at the end. Hello,
Myself, Bhushan.
Bhushan.
Yeah.
Okay, you can unmute yourself. Bhushan and Ranjit. Okay. today's volunteers. Okay, great. So I'm asking about what is the difference between corporate strategy and the business strategy. Anybody from you? What is the difference? Please, guys, I'm just trying to explain you in detail so you can understand from scratch. What is the difference between corporate strategy and business strategy? If you don't know, you can just tell me. One of anybody from you know, then I can explain it.
So can we term corporate strategy as the strategies which are made for made by the corporates to get some particular goal, to achieve some goal, and business strategies for business growth?
Mhm. Okay, so I will explain you in with example. Then you can relate that explanation with your understanding or concepts. Okay, so corporate strategy is nothing but I will give you one example. Tata Group is one big group. I think whether I explained this, I don't know in first or second lecture, but I'm repeating it if I'm explained already. The Tata Group is one big group. Under the Tata Group, various businesses are there. Can you just name two or three businesses?
Sir, TCS, Tata Steel, Tata Motors.
Yeah, three. Tata Steel, TCS, and Tata Motors. Okay, so these are the businesses. Okay, and that three businesses or more than three, all they are running under one corporate, one group that is called as the Tata Trust or Tata. So when we are just defining a corporate strategy, then it is a strategy or strategy of your Tata Group. Okay, and when we are just defining a business strategy, then every business under that that corporate or that Tata Group, they have their own strategy. Like Tata Automobiles will have their own strategy, that Tata Motors. TCS have their own strategy because they are dealing with unique or different business, business line. So every business have their own strategy. So we defined it as a business strategy, and the overall strategy of the group is called as a corporate strategy. Now, when we come towards inside one organization, then we have just seen that every department or unit have their own strategy to deal with to perform their daily operations. Okay, so we called it as a departmental level strategy. Of course, objective and goals is also set departmental level goal, or unit. If you are running any divisions also have their unique goals and objectives. So that if we take example of HR department, so HR department have their own strategy based on their functionality. So HR functions already you have seen. What are the HR functions? Okay, which is divided into three parts. What are that? Operative. Anybody can you just tell me? HR functions, which is divided into three parts. Already we have learned that in first lecture. That in introduction. What are that three?
Managerial function, operative function, and advisory.
Advisory functions. Okay, so those functions, every functions, okay, to run that function smoothly in that organization, every HR department have their own strategy. So that we name it as a HR strategy. So every departmental strategy, not only the HR department, but every department align or link their strategy with the company strategy or business strategy, we can say. So and everything is in the form of chain. Corporate strategy is linked with business strategy. Business strategy is linked with if unit is there, the unit strategy or department strategy, and accordingly the work proceeds. So there is a challenges how you are linking this HR strategy with the company strategy. That is the first related issue, and the second one, as a part of HR strategy, which company function should be highest priority? Okay, so when I'm just refer the HR strategy, HR department point of view, second question. But when I'm asking you one question, that according to you, or according to your organization, which function is the highest priority? So we'll come on that slide. Okay, not only the HR functions I am saying. So various departments have their own different functions. So if I ask you which department is a more critical or prioritized department in organization, in traditional way, the finance department is most priority level. Highest priority level is the finance department, because without finance, the organization will not run. Okay, so it's get a highest priority. But nowadays, that traditional approach get transformed to a more innovative approach. So what are that approaches, and how you're setting the priorities of your functions, your critical functions, your critical departments or critical processes? That is very important, company to company. If you see the images, like what you see on slide, can you read it? Please, can you read it? Read the slide.
Yes, sir. Innovations, brands, price, design, quality.
Okay.
Apple, Red Bull.
That's it. That's it. So all these are the strategic priority. So every organizations, okay, have some mission or vision or specialization. You can say specialty. For example, when we see towards Apple or BMW or Roche, what are their specialization? One is in technology, another one is in automobile, and the third one is in pharmaceutical or healthcare sector. So everyone have their specialty, and why we place them into the innovation that block. The reason is that companies or that organization recognize through their innovative products what the products they are just launching in the market. That products are innovative one, they are unique one. So their priority or their brand are connected with innovation. So every organization, I'm not saying that every company, the companies don't have innovation, brand, price, design, quality, but all these factors or all these factors are a part of strategy of every organization. But I'm just saying about the the priority level, which for which factor your organization giving more priority. Okay, so some examples are there for innovation, some brand, some price related, okay, some design related, okay, and quality related. So every organization, can you just name some connect this concept with your organization, and please tell me with your experience, what is your priority, strategic priority of your organization? So please name two. Any of you, please tell me your organization strategic priority. What is the strategic priority of your organization based on the slides, whatever the name is written in the slides? Name your organization and just tell me what is the priority for your organization, or your organizations are recognized in the market. Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Swapnil here. Our company name is Chaugule Construction Chemical. We basically our strategic priorities are innovation and quality.
Innovation and quality.
Yeah.
Another one? Any another one? One more.
My name is Bhushan. My company name is Alkylamines Chemicals Limited. My company's strategic priorities basically is into specialty chemicals.
Yeah, but what are the strategic priority? You have to name one of or two of them from the slide. Whether your yeah.
Basically, the quality is the main important, and also design.
Design. Okay. So if you see the example of that Chaugule and Alkaline, if I'm pronouncing right. So these two companies have one is important in innovation and quality, and another one is design and quality. So every company have their one strategic priority chart, and accordingly they are investing or framing their strategies, whether it is short term, mid term, or long term strategies. And that strategy will link with the HR strategies. Accordingly, they require the workforce. If Apple priorities innovation, then they require such a workforce which will add some value to their innovation. If you are just go towards a quality thing, okay, so there they required more lean process oriented people, those who are good in quality, those who are specialized in it. Okay. If someone focus to brand, so brand value is very important, so the people workforce, they will just get which suits to their brand. So what I want to say that the workforce plan, I'm just explaining you the concept from top to down. So top is your organization strategy, and that strategies are based on their priorities. So what are their priorities? It's depend upon organization to organization, and that strategies are linked with those priorities. Okay, and priorities are variable. So it's a dynamic. It's not fixed. It's changed as per the market condition, competition, or sort of some external factors or internal factors. So external factors, you can say the customer needs test or the legislation of that country. Okay, so a lot of factors are there, external factors which impact the strategic priority of the organization. Uh, are you able to understand the concept? You're getting it, or is there any doubt on this slide? I'm just moving forward. Is there any issue on this slide or question?
No, sir.
So now we are moving towards third slide, that is a company strategy, which is linked with the HR strategy. But one more thing is coming in between these two, that is employee. Because as I said, when you are linking company strategy with HR strategy, basically that HR strategy linked with your employees, because HR name itself indicates that is a human resource, employees. Those are working in that organization. Those who are the employees gives the structure to every organization. They add the value to the organization. As I said, that human resource are not the resource is not a proper word that you are linking with your human, which are those who are working in organization. We have to use a capital word, because human beings are adding, the employees are adding value to the growth of your organization. So they are doubling it through their performance, through their efforts, through their knowledge, through their ability. Okay, so we can call it as a human capital. So when we say the human capital, so they are the asset of your organization. When we say asset, they are strategically important to every organization. So if you see the company strategy, the strategic challenges, as I said, challenges are categorized in two ways: internal and external. Internal strategic challenges, that the company budget, how much the share value is there in the market. Okay, the management who is running that organization, the talented workforce who is working in that organization, the culture of that organization. All these are the internal challenges, okay, of the organization. When we say the external challenges, then competition is there, innovation is there, legislation is there. So all these are the external challenges. So just a minute, I want to check. I just forgot to record the session. I'm recording. Yes, I'm recording it. Great. So when we say that company strategy, strategic challenges, then strategic priorities, already I have explained you. The strategic priorities dynamic in nature. It changes depending upon the situation, depending upon the environment. Okay, whether it is internal or external. Then it comes the business objective. So business objective is a part of company strategy or organization strategy. in which that organization is working. Okay. The fourth one is a competitive advantage. Okay, as I explained you what is how much competitions is there. If you take an example of Geo, which is launched in 2015, how they get that competition advantage. There is no any competitor in the market when Geo launch in that costing. Okay, what how they occupy all the market, the telecommunication market at that time, and how the other company share get collapse. That is the best example. And finally, the company vision. Company vision is depend upon the long term strategy of organization. Company vision is framed based on its long term vision, and then based on vision the missions are framed. And after that the chain of strategy begins. Then the all departmental strategy, then your unit divisional strategies, all they are linked with the company vision and mission. When we talk towards HR strategy, departmental level strategy, okay, that in that we include key functions like recruiting, development, communication, layoff, etc., etc. So I have just taken some few here. Okay, and in between that, employees, okay, competencies, how that employee are satisfied, okay, whether you are taken that employee into consideration, whether then the employee knows about the vision and mission of organization, how he is motivated, whether he is satisfied, intrinsically motivated or extrinsically motivated. Okay, all that factors are calculated when you are linking company strategy with the departmental strategy. Values is very important because values finally link with your organizational culture and availability, okay, of that employee. Okay, that is important factor. So this slide tells about the conclusion of this slide, that how you are linking company strategy with the departmental strategy by considering employee as a center of point. Okay, so you have to this slide tells about it. Okay, please pause me. And, if you are not understanding any concept or you want more example, you can just ask me anytime by just asking me in between session also. It's not like that you have to wait at the end. Okay, so I'm just thinking that you are understanding. That's why I'm just moving forward. I will ask you after every slide whether you are understand or not, and then I
Okay,
will
sir.
go forward. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Fine. So if you see, this slide says about which function is of highest importance. As I told you, if we see management as at top level, there are some core functions and there are some supportive functions. So just I want from your side some answers, like anybody, okay, from you, just please tell me what are the core functions inside your organization and what are the supportive functions. So, for example, the core function of your organization is like if you are a financial company, financial consultants, your core function is a finance. Okay, and the supporting function is your technology department, technical department, which is providing a technical support to your organization. Okay, if you are in a pharmaceutical industry, in healthcare sector, so there the importance is given to research and development. So the core function will come there as a R&D, and the supporting function there is a HR department, you can say, because human resource are hiring the talented people to fulfill the requirement of R&D, research and development center, or talent management, you can say. Learning and development is also one supportive function for R&D. Okay, so in that way, can you just link this concept with your organization and please tell me what is your organization name? Then it's a core function and it's supportive function. Please, anything you can say your finance department also, but in overall organization, I'm asking. Yes.
Sir, I work for Adani Electricity Mumbai Limited.
Hmm.
Our core function is O&M, operational maintenance,
Operation
of
and maintenance.
electrical networks.
Hmm.
And support team is planning and CPG for procurement.
Okay, so planning. Okay. Okay,
We work
great.
we work for planning basically.
Yes. Okay, great. And any more? Any more?
Hi sir, I'm Kalpesh and I work for Ugam Solutions, and we are major into analytics domain. So our major is primary and secondary research. Uh, that's what we deal in,
So
and
what is your core
supportive.
function?
Sorry,
Core function. What is your core function?
analytics is a core function for us.
Analytics. So we can say it is a research and development.
Ha,
You are doing the
research, not
data
development
analytics.
ideally.
You are doing the data analytics. You are doing the research on
Yeah.
data. Okay, you are
Yes.
just
Yes.
coming with some innovative reports. Okay,
Yes.
so R&D and the supporting function is
Supportive is IT. We have HCM. We have uh, admin team, and then internal IT telecom team.
okay. So how to identify core function? Listen, every building have the basement, okay, and the pillars are there on the basement. So you can say that core functions are your basement and pillars are your supportive functions. So without basement, your building will not stand. In the same way, without core function, your organization cannot survive in market. You have to identify in that way. So this is your second assignment. I will post it on your Google Classroom at the end of the session. That just I'm giving a brief idea about it. So you have to identify your number of functions which is exist in your organization. You can function in the sense processes or departments. Okay, anybody getting difficult to understand, then they can assume it as a process or a function or departments. Total number of, for example, if 8 departments are there within your organization, then you have to identify the core departments or core functions. So how to identify core functions? I have just give you the clue. So you have to you have to relate that function with your organization. If you remove that function, your organization will not survive in the market. So in that way, you have to identify the core function, and then you have to identify the supportive function. Supportive function which gives a support to that core function. In that way, 10 रहेंगे आपके core function. फिर in that supportive number of function रहेंगे 10. उसमें से core functions might be, it will be 3 to 4, and supporting function will be 5 to 6. And then you have to identify, okay, till now you have to do that activity. Okay, it's 1 page or 2 page activities, not like that. And you have to write in a brief description about each department, why this is the core function. You have to mention it, why you have chosen department as a core function or core department. Okay, so that is your second assignment that I'm going to post. You understand this concept, what I want to say. So what we learned till now, I want to just revise it once again. So related issues. Okay, after that, strategic priority, we just go through the concept of what is meant by strategy, corporate level strategy, business level strategy, departmental level strategy, linking company strategy or organization strategy with your departmental strategy. We are learning HR, so we link the HR company strategy with HR strategy. Okay, and then we try to understand what are the core functions of your organization and what are the supportive functions. Okay, now we are moving towards factor determining workforce demand. If you see this triangle indicates the growth of your organization. Okay, so that organization is moving ahead with growth, and in that growth, what is happening? If you see, the triangle is divided into a three part. That is the senior, that is top level management. Bottom space is allocated to bottom level management or lower level management, and mid, that promotion out promotion, that is a part of your middle level management. So the factors like that, what are the factors? The demographic factor, you can say, that is the age factor. Due to age, what is happening? The people are the retirement is people are retiring from their job. Okay, or some people are losing their job or leaving the company. That is the high turnover. Okay, some people are moving upside. That is nothing but a succession planning. Huh? This part I just this part. So the people are moving to a top level, that is promotion. Okay, promotion in, promotion out. So, and at a similar time, the hiring from external thing is going on. So this triangle says that basically the the workforce planning, after workforce planning, when we go for recruitment and selection happens in two ways. The first one, you are developing the people, those who are working inside your organization. For that, we call it as a succession planning. You are preparing your in-house employees for executive level leadership in future, and you are hiring from outside, from external sources. Okay, these are the two ways that we are fulfilling our need or workforce demand. Only these are the concept that I want to say this to from this slide. Okay, so I think that it is not that much complicated to understand. If you have any doubt, you can ask me during explanation. So, yeah. So we are now there to our initial slide of what is workforce planning. Anybody of you? Can you read this slide or read highlighted sentence or words? Please read the first paragraph. Volunteer.
Workforce planning is the process of analyzing, forecasting, and planning workforce supply and demand, and assessing gaps and determining targeted talent management interventions to ensure that an organization has the right people with the right skills in the right places at the right time to fulfill its mandate and strategic objectives.
Okay. So I will read once again. So workforce planning is the process of, first word is analyzing, second one is forecasting, and the third word is planning workforce. So every word have some meaning. Analyzing, when you are using analyzing is nothing but you are analyzing the current workforce that you have in your organization. Okay. Forecasting is nothing but the futuristic or predictive analysis, you can say. You are just doing prediction that you require this much workforce in upcoming 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. Planning workforce supply and demand. When I say supply and demand, supply says the current employee that you exist or that they have within your organization, and demand that you require. And finally, the assessing gap. Assessing gap means whatever the existing employees are there and what demand that you require, or what the employee or workforce you require in upcoming days. So the difference between these two is called as a gap. I will show you one graph. From that you will able to understand what I want to say. This slide. Okay, are you able to see this slide, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this slide says that the first slide is saying that quantity of talent, and on y-axis and x-axis is time. Okay, so supply is required, and in second slide demand and supply. Okay, supply is the current state of your organization, and demand is your future requirement. Okay, and third slide says about the gap which exists, what you require and what you have. So that is nothing but the gap analysis, and the workforce planning targeting this thing. It's predicting for future what type of workforce you require, how much you require, what you have currently, and what is the gap. Okay, and to fulfill that gap, you have to do the planning, how you can acquire those talent, or do and recruitment selection, or develop within your organization. That is the strategic part. Okay, but workforce planning is to identify those gaps. Okay, so that I want to say. This slide says that identifies the gap between the future needs of the organization and the structure of the current organization, and identifies skills that the organization does not currently have but will soon require. So you can just relate demand and supply with the requirement of the workforce, or requirement of talent or skill set. Okay, that you require in future. So this slide says, for example, if you want an example, then I can give The current requirement is more related to the technology type. Like the current organizations required a skill set of data analyst, okay, or the people who know artificial intelligence, machine learning, then IoT, Internet of Things, okay, programming, in the current, with the help of current technologies, okay. So this type of skill set people demand is high in current situation, okay. So to identify such type of requirement in upcoming years, and accordingly do a planning in that direction, and then effectively implement that plan in the form of action. That is nothing but the workforce planning, okay. So that is the explanation, quick explanation about what you required, what you want from workforce planning. So once again, I will read that line, that workforce planning is the process of analyzing, forecasting, and planning workforce supply and demand, assessing gaps, and determining targeted talent management interventions. So talent management interventions means what? The talent management interventions is like a development, providing training to the internal employees, okay, to meet that skill set, or the interventions like talent acquisition, you are acquiring those talent from outside, okay. All those are the interventions which comes under talent management, and that is targeted to to fulfill that gap, okay. So that part is explained in this line. If you see, to ensure that an organization has the right people with the right skill in the right place and at the right time to fulfill this mandate and strategic objective. So the requirement of the organization and his strategic objective, to fulfill this, you require workforce planning. And workforce planning is nothing but it is a systematic, execution, analyzing, forecasting, and planning workforce supply and demand. More easy definition which is given by SHRM, that is SHRM, Society for Human Resource Management, defined workforce planning as the strategic alignment of an organization's human capital with its business direction. Business direction, as I said, it's a vision and mission of organization. Strategic alignment, you are linking organization strategy with your HR strategy, okay. So strategic alignment of an organization for human capital with its business direction. That is the explanation of this slide. Okay. So more easy way, if you have to understand what is workforce planning, as I said, the Rancho definition. Okay, Rancho Das Chanchad. So what he says, workforce planning is nothing but a simply right number of people with the right competency, right job, and right time. That is nothing but for what we required this workforce, okay, to accomplish the goal and mission of the organization. There I have written agency relate to organization or company, okay. So one more line is written below. It will clear your doubt. That is, workforce planning is often referred to as HR planning, succession planning, human capital planning, and it is a part of talent management. Okay, so what are the steps? Workforce planning steps: define the future, analyze the current workforce, find the gap in between, in between future and current, fulfill that gap, that is the monitor, evaluate, and revise it until you cannot fulfill that gap. That is the steps, easy step for workforce planning. Yes, is there any doubt till here? You understand all the definitions, concept, how you are linking with strategic approach to your HR strategy to workforce planning, and what is workforce planning? You got the concept, or is there any question from your side?
No questions as of now, sir.
No question. You understand? You are able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, great. Next, purpose of workforce planning. I will quickly read this slide. Okay, what is the purpose of workforce planning? To reduce the cost, because effective workforce planning, if you do the effective workforce planning, then automatically you will get the talented people, and talented people are more efficient. Okay, they work, efficiently. They achieve the target very easily. So that will directly impact to your budget of your organization, and it directly impact to reduce the cost. So workforce planning, purpose of workforce planning, effective workforce planning, I will use the effective word, that reduce the cost. Second one is provide a better basis for planning employee development. Okay, so you will get a clear understanding that what are the gap exist. Okay, skill gap exist in between, your employees for future skill and the current skill, and accordingly that you can, by providing various interventions like training interventions, you can fill that gap. And third one is improve the overall business planning process. So all the processes are get affected. Why I'm saying workforce planning is important, because the workforce planning document is a base for your recruitment and selection. Without workforce plan, you cannot start recruiting people or selecting people. Okay, so workforce planning is the first document. Okay, that helps, to recruit and select people. Okay, for your organization. So before doing workforce plan, what you require, you have to do the job analysis. The job analysis is nothing but what type of jobs or what type of roles that exist, okay, that have in your organization. You're analyzing that, you're doing analysis of that thing, and that concept is called as the job analysis, and the document which is coming out from that job analysis is job description and job specification. Job description is nothing but a detailed explanation of your required profile for that role, and job specification is the key competencies or key skill set you required to fulfill your requirement. So these are the outcome of your job analysis, and that is the input to your workforce planning. So how you are making the chain? First, you require to do the job analysis. Okay, from that job analysis, the two documents will come out. One is your job description and another one is job specification. These two documents will act as an input to your workforce planning. So then you can just find it out how many workforce you require or manpower you require, okay, for that particular year, or for short term, mid term, or long term, strategy. And this workforce plan then act as an input to your recruitment and selection process. Okay, so in that way the thing happens. We'll see in detail what is job description, job analysis, and job specification in recruitment and selection. That a workforce plan is, in between job analysis and the recruitment and selection. Okay, so to reduce cost, planning employee development, overall business planning process, provide more opportunity for women and minority group in the future growth and strategic plan. As our Indian Constitution says that, the Article 15 and 16 of our Indian Constitution says that everyone treat equally. Okay, in the country, whether it is an organization or whether it is a society. So here too, there should be not a gender biasness, and you can say you have to be treat equally for everyone. Okay, whether it might be a female, male, or based on the caste, you cannot differ. Okay, so workforce planning, what it gives? It gives a detailed insight that how much workforce you require without affecting the this laws, without violating this laws, social laws, you can say, which is given by our Constitution. So provide more opportunities for women and minority groups in the future growth and strategic plan of the organization. Promote greater awareness of the importance of sound human resource throughout all levels of organization. Finally, provide a tool for evaluating the influence of various HR action and policies. So this will impact all HR actions and policies within your organization. As I said, Workforce planning is an input to your recruitment and selection. Then workforce planning document will play important role while designing your training and development policy or a compensation strategy or reward management. Okay, all these processes require your workforce planning report or document that you are creating in at initial stage. Okay, so that's why it is an important process, you can say, of HR, or you can say of organization. It's a management process, I will say, rather than HR process, because it's impacting all the organization. I'm just moving. Already I have just explained this slide. Okay, so why do workforce planning? Why you required? Yes. So you already just I mentioned it. Why workforce? Why do workforce planning require? Okay, to recognize. Okay. Right people with right skill at right place and right time. That is very simple definition of workforce planning. Why you go for workforce planning? Effective workforce planning. And this factor, people, skills, positions, and timing need to be aligned to ensure your organization is able to continue to meet its mission. So finally, as I said, that workforce planning, when it connects with organization strategy, then the main objective of your that workforce planning is to achieve or to meet the organization mission, or what the organization mission that is stated by the organization. Okay. So next slide is the need for additional labor. Okay. Are you with me? Am I audible to you?
Yes,
All
yes.
of you? Great. तो ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि मैं सिखाते जाऊँ और you are disconnected. Okay.
Sir, can you go back to the previous slide?
Okay. This slide?
Yeah.
Yes. Is there any question on this?
So I didn't get the topic of this particular slide. That is why do workforce planning?
Why we do workforce planning? Why there is a need? Why we plan, basically?
Okay.
Why we plan? If you have the requirement, fulfill it. Now, why you are planning for long term or mid term?
Okay.
So the planning is important. Now, if you don't plan, then what will happen? Okay, if you don't plan for 3 years, so if you don't do the mid-term planning, okay, and suddenly you open the new business venture,
Okay.
okay, and you require such a people, those who are rare in skill set.
Okay.
So how will you get those people in a short time, okay, to run your business?
Right. So basically, we have to identify those people for future business.
That is the basic objective of manpower planning or workforce planning, na?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, why we are doing workforce planning? Okay, so on time you do not get difficulty to identify, to search the required talent here and there.
Okay.
That is the important thing. Okay, and because human capital or human resource is an asset for your organization. Without human being, you cannot run your organization. The best example is current scenario. How many organizations are in a running mode in a world?
Not much.
Not much. And if the people if they don't do work from home, then
The maximum of the organization won't work.
99% of organization, 1% those who are fully automation, if they are implemented, for there also the people required, because we are not fully automated. Robot artificial intelligence concept is not implemented thoroughly.
Right.
No any organization say that we are fully automated. At least you required 1% to start the button.
Okay. So basically, we need all these people to be handy if this kind of situations occur. So they might be able to take some decisions at this particular situations, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Planning, you do planning for that uncertain things, na?
Yeah.
Why you do the planning? Why you do the financial planning?
Right.
Why you why you take the medical insurance? That is the planning, investment planning that you done. Because uncertain thing happens, uncertain events will happen in future, and to cope up or to handle those situations, you should be ready. Okay, and if you don't do the effective planning, then what will happen?
Right. Everything will be like in a mess.
Currently what is happening?
Yeah.
Currently all our organizations, the situation is chaos situation. Everyone is looking towards each other. What other organization is doing, what we are doing?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Right.
Because total policies get disturbed. No policy is running organization. Lean, you are saying, na, lean process. What is about lean process? If your supply chain get breaks, okay, how will you run the lean process then?
Yeah. Right.
So lean term will not exist in upcoming days. It will be there for quality factor, but in current VUCA world, lean thing have the less importance. As I said, the priority of organization get changed. Pre-COVID, people are running towards lean. People required a quality product. People required, organization required, the qualified, specialized employee. And currently, the specialized employee is doing nothing. The specialized employee is sitting at home and working on laptop. That's it. He's not giving any input how to deal with the situation, current situation. He's not giving any suggestion to the organization. So there is no use of such people, specialized people. So to think accordingly, in upcoming days, you have to change upgrade your skills. You need to be versatile.
Okay.
Firstly, you have to be specialized in your function. That is mandatory requirement. And after that, you require a leadership skill, managerial skills, and agility. You have to work in VUCA world, and to deal with VUCA environment, you firstly should be agile. Okay, that is the basic requirement. And in the current scenario, organizations, okay, looking forward, to make such type of workforce. Okay, so that's why the learning and development, the training and development department, HR department people, they are struggling, a lot to create such type of workforce. You can say the agile workforce. The workforce, the people, a group of people, those who are ready to deal with any situation. The final outcome is that organization never stop. The final objective of that agile workforce is that organization needs to be, in running mode.
Yeah.
Okay, that is the main objective. You got the concept? Why we require workforce planning?
Yeah, I got it.
So that is the best example of need for additional labor. The workforce planning helps ensure that organization fulfill their business plan. We name it as a business case also for the future. Means if you have any business plan in upcoming 5 years or 10 years, then you have to think accordingly and plan your workforce accordingly. Means you have to do workforce planning accordingly as per your business plans. For the future, in terms of financial objective, if you have to double your profit in upcoming 2 years, whatever the profit that you are earning in from last 2 years, 2 financial years, you have to double it in upcoming 1 financial year. So that is the financial objective. If you have to output goal, if you have to double your production, if you are manufacturing 10,000 items daily, okay, so you have to double it. You have to take it to the 20,000. That is output goals. Product mix, you have to, different products are there of one organization. If they want to increase those product mix capabilities, the more product mix they want to launch products in product mix category, they can do it. So all these technologies and resource requirement, all these are the set objectives. If they all that comes under business plan. So every organization main objective is to grow, and for growing they are just looking forward in terms of quality, in terms of mass production, in terms of innovation, in terms of launching new product, okay, in terms of more innovative or technological, automotive you can say, okay. So for those business plan they required workforce. Without manpower you are not in 22nd centuries, or after 50 years you are not saying that why we required workforce planning. All or mostly the employees are robots, those are working in our industries. We don't require any workforce planning. But currently the people are working in your organization, not a robots. Okay, so you have to you have to plan accordingly. So once the business plan are determined, once you are clear with your business venture or business strategy, in which sector you have to invest in upcoming 5 years or 10 years, then you have to look towards your HR planner, human resource planner, which this business plan will assist your HR people or who is involved in that workforce planning to predict how much workforce you required for your business plan, and accordingly the plan comes out, and then the strategy how to execute that plan, that needs to be understand. So in developing workable organization structure and determining the number and types of employee that will be required to meet those plans, so you require that workforce, those employees, okay, to achieve that business plan objective. Alignment between business and human resource planning. This is the next slide. Okay, so how you are aligning your business with human resource planning, already I have just discussed with you, okay, in previous slide, how you are linking the business strategy with your human resource HR strategy. Okay, once again I will just go through the slide. The size of the organization's workforce should be based on its business plan. So whatever the businesses that organization running or that organizations are there, accordingly the workforce you have to ready with your workforce. Every organization should ask the question, how many of which type of employee will be required to achieve your organization goal. To reach its goal, an organization must have a proper mix of employees with the necessary knowledge, skills, and ability. So why I'm saying proper mix of employee? Because every business venture have the hierarchy of employees. Hierarchy means the top level managements are there, the leaders are there who frame the strategies to run those businesses. Middle level management help them to execute those strategy at bottom level. The bottom level line managers are more operational in nature. They are dealing with the workers, laborers at the ground levels, line managers you can say, or the supervisors. Okay, so these are the mix of employees, and every employees have their specific knowledge, skills, and ability to perform their own task. Because workers who are working in the industry, they have the different skill set, different knowledge, different abilities. And if in the same industry, if the manager level employee, he exists some different knowledge, skills, and abilities, KSA approach. And at the same top level management, that person is also having the different KSA approach. So this product proper employee mix you need to manage when you are designing any workforce planning or aligning business with your human resource planning. We categorize workforce planning into three broad category. That is a long range planning, that is up to 10 years, mid range planning that is up to 5 years, and short range planning up to 1 to 2 years. So what you mean by long range planning? So which stakeholders or which type of people are involved in long range planning? Anybody from you can guess it. Which peoples are involved in long range planning? Can you name it? 2 or 3 designation.
So CEO.
CEO, okay. Anybody else? Long range planning, CEO, we can name it as a top level management. Okay. Another one,
Business head.
business head. Okay. Mid level management. Okay. Anybody else?
So the strategy manager.
VP,
Executives.
Strategy manager. That is a planner, HR planner, you can say.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Anybody else?
VP, Vice President,
Okay, that is a part of top level management, you can say, or mid level management. Okay, so okay, we'll take
Directors.
uh, in a broad way like this: top level management, mid level management, and the strategic planner. Strategy planner is nothing but your HR planner, who is might be that person is a consultant from outside, or the person from in-house who is doing workforce planning for your organization. Okay, so these three people involved because long-range planning are having a strategic importance. Strategically, it's impacting your organization performance for a long period. So the top level management, it is mandatory that top level management have the important role in it. Second one is your the mid level management, like your directors, okay, department heads, you can say, or divisional managers, okay, that also important stakeholders in that. And the third one is your the HR planner, okay, who actually plan that workforce, okay, workforce strategy for a long range planning. Okay, great. So the HR manager or should participate with the top management in formulating a long range business strategy. Okay, the organization mission needs to examine, to determine what useful product or services the organization should produce. Now strategic word is coming. Okay, and already I have explained you what is meant by strategy, the critical functions of organizations, the core functions of organizations, or you can say supportive function. So here you have to prioritize your processes, because listen, for long run, strategic or core functions will remain with your organization, not the temporary functions. Like as I said, basement will remain with that building permanently. Pillars will get changed. Okay, in that way, your organization's supportive functions or supportive process will might get updated throughout the 10 years span, but your core functions or critical functions will remain same. So you have to firstly identify the critical functions or processes within your organization if for a long range planning. That is the first thumb rule, okay, when you are going for workforce planning. Second thing that you have to do the SWOT analysis. What is SWOT analysis? That is your strength of your organization, weakness of your organization, opportunity and threats. As you are doing planning for a long term, that is 10 years. So you have to just think that what is your strength? Okay, what is your strength in a market? Okay, that keep you sustained for 10 years. That is important, because if you see in mobile phone companies, Nokia never exist. That Micromax phone, you cannot see them in the current market domain. Okay, so where they go? The reason 10 years, if you go 8 years before, Micromax Canvas replaced Samsung phones. Okay, that Canvas series of Micromax. So for long range planning, you need to just identify the strength of your organization, which functions are help you to sustain in that competition that you have to identify. Opportunity, that is your strength. Weakness. So what are the weaknesses that you need to eliminate, or you need to rework on it? Okay, if you are lacking innovation, if you are lacking organization culture, if you are lacking branding your organization, okay, so quality of product, so you have to identify your weakness. That if you are eliminating your weakness, automatically your strength will get increased, and that makes sure that you will sustain for 10 years. Then strength, weakness, opportunities. What are the new opportunities are there in market after 10 years or after 5 years? Like Mukesh Ambani identified that opportunity 15 years before. In 2001, he planned for investing in fiber optics. So he identified that in current days, this fiber optics will play a master stroke from him. Okay, and the same thing happens nowadays. What he's expecting after 10 years, okay, that he needs to do in the current. During pandemic, the share values of Reliance get increased due to if you see the most of the organizations here are shutting down. Okay, if they are closed, but Reliance, Mukesh Ambani Group, they are just doing merging, that attracting the investors to invest in their ventures, in his venture. So what is that? That is the long-term strategy that he framed for his organization. Okay, and he not only think accordingly that he wants to open a geo platform after 10 years or 5 years, but he work on workforce also. He ready with the existing outlet chain for branding geo phones or geo network. Okay, he utilized it. He never start from the scratch. He already work on the base infrastructure initially, and then he launched that product. So what is that? That is nothing but the long range planning. Opportunity and threat you need to identify. In the similar way, threats are environmental threats, legal threats. That legal threats in the sense legislation, labor laws, company laws also plays an important role. Okay, currently ask to those firms, okay, those who are totally dependent upon Chinese raw materials. If you go for the electronics items, okay, or some healthcare sectors, manufacturing, medicine manufacturing units or industries, they are suffering a lot because they totally depend upon the raw material, which is we are importing from China, and suddenly our Indian government bans the Chinese products, or they have some what we can say, the strict rules they impose on it. So due to what? Due to this China-India conflict, the business if affected, and due to which our organization suffer. That is also one factor you have to consider when you are thinking about long-range planning. So long-range planning is totally, you can say, it's very risky in nature. Okay, lots of external factors are depend on it, which is not under control of that organization, and you have to predict and accordingly you have to work. Second, you can say that there are some demographic changes, like in between that 10-year span, lots of your employee will get retired, or a few most of your employees you leave your organization. So for that also you have to ready with your workforce planning, change in labor supply or changes in law. That is also very important factors that you have to consider during long range planning. Second term comes middle range planning. Middle range planning is up to 5 years you are considering that time span, and accordingly you are planning, doing workforce planning. So targeted to achieve organizational objective or goal for next 2 to 5 years. Middle range planning involves forecasting how many employees will be needed within each job category to achieve the business goal. Basically, when we say the job category the job category, for example, if you have 100 openings, so you cannot say that we are having 100 openings. You can say I'm having 4 job categories, in that 100 openings are there. So job category, you are just synchronize. You are just contrasting that thing. Means you are making shorter the number of required workforce into under a tagline of job category. So vacancies that you have to be filled for turnover, attrition and productivity change. Productivity change, as I said, that the current situation, no, the demand is not that much, so the supply chain get affected due to COVID factor, and due to which it's directly impact to the workforce, those who are working in manufacturing sector. So that is the important today's the GD topic is that only what are the challenges, HR challenges that faced by service sector and the manufacturing sector during COVID-19. Okay, so last is the short range planning that we called as the manpower planning. It is 1 to 2 years. So short range planning involves developing performance goal or annual operating plan. So the another feature of short range planning is that you're reviewing the long range planning and middle range planning on continuous basis. Yearly you're reviewing it. Can you tell me whether long range planning is a static or dynamic, or it get changed? Long range planning and mid range planning is fixed plan, or it may get changed as time spent. Please answer it. Long range planning or mid range planning is fixed, or it get changed?
Ideally, it is fixed, but in like in a situation which is not like if you look at the current situation, a lot of companies and organizations change even long-term plannings as well. So probably they are
Yes.
dynamic.
That in short we can say the long range and mid range plan is a dynamic in nature. It is not steady in the current VUCA environment. You need to review those plans in short range planning on regular basis. Okay, on yearly basis you have to review it, you have to update it and adjust that plan according to your objective mission of your organization. Okay, because you are changing your organization objective according to the external factors, those who are impacting, or internal factors, those who are impacting organizations. When I say internal and external factor, already I have just told you that internal factors are your top level management, the stakeholders of the organizations, the sponsors, okay, the processes which are there within your organizations. Okay, all these are the internal factors of your organization. And when we analyze the external factors are the legislation, the labor supply from outside competition, the disaster, natural disaster and man-created disasters are there. Man-made disaster like that uh, uh, Bhopal gas tragedy, that is one disaster which is made by man. Okay, due to manual error it happens. Okay, so that is one thing which will impact your complete organization. Long range planning, I'm saying, mid range and long range planning. So you need to review those plan time to time, and you have to make some updation as organization grow. This is about the alignment between business and human resource planning and in a strategic way. Uh, Workforce planning and HR activities. So as I told you, the workforce plan is the input to your recruitment and selection. Without workforce plan you cannot start recruitment and selection, because if you don't know how much candidate you have to recruit or select, how you can proceed for that process. So you must have a detailed workforce planning in your hand, that document. In this way, you are linking workforce plan with the HR activities like recruitment and selection, training and development, career management. Job analysis is the initial step of before workforce planning that you have to do, and after job analysis you can that job analysis document will help that workforce planner to plan in an effective way. So already I have discussed this slide in previous discussion. So I'm just moving forward. If you have any doubt you can ask me. Next one important factor nowadays that you have to discuss, that is the technology and workforce planning. So as a new technology, such as state-of-art information system, robots, and office automation are introduced into the workplace, workforce planning will be used to answer questions such as following. So how can organization assimilate technology into workplace? What impact do this new technology have on job design? Which skills are needed by the firm? Okay, so Can you just tell me what is the difference between HRIS, HCM, and HRMS? Please note it down so you can get a clear understanding of what I'm asking you. I'm asking you HRIS, Human Resource Information System, Human Capital Management. Okay, and the third factor is your Human Resource Management System. Is there anyone?
So can you repeat once again? HRIS?
HRIS, HCM, Human Capital Management, and HRMS, Human Resource Management System.
Okay.
Okay, I will show you one next slide. Based on that, you can just tell me. Yes.
What is HRMS?
Human Resource Management System. Human Resource Management System. HCM stands for Human Capital Management. HRIS stands for Human Resource Information System. Okay, I will explain you. So if you see this diagram, the internal core part says this is HRIS, and these are the factors, okay, which comes under HRIS system. Second one is HCM, and third one is outside one. The broad term that you see, that red one, is HRMS. So HRMS is nothing but it is a management system, okay, HR management system, which link all HR processes into one integrated system. So your payroll gets integrated, your training and development process will integrate, your compensation management, your reward management, your learning and development, your recruitment and selection, your workforce planning. All these processes are integrated through one integrated system that we called it as HRMS, Human Resource Management System, which is a broader term. Okay. The second, I will explain a core term, and then I will come to a middle term. The smallest part of this system is HRIS. HRIS is nothing but Human Resource Information System. It is a modules of HRMS. Okay, different modules you can say, like your absence or leave management system. It is a part of HRMS, leave management system. So in leave management system, your attendance is recorded. Okay, and your leave applications are taken place. So what type of information is required for your leave management system or attendance management system? That your attendance information are taken, and how many days you are present, how many days are you absent. This type of information is taken by the attendance system, that we call as a HRIS. Specific model, small modules are there in HRMS, and every module takes a different information. If it's a recruitment in HRIS module, then we can say the recruiting information, the applications, okay, which is submitted by the applicant, okay, that is taken as an input, and it is stored inside that system, and it is given in the form of report to your organization, that how many candidates are applied for that particular post, in a graphical way or in a tabular way. So that is the work of HRIS, and all these modules are integrated under one system that we call as a HRMS. Now the second term is called Human Capital Management, and if you see human capital, the C capital word is used there. So capital, as I say, it's very important because it adds value to the organization. Okay, so when we are looking towards employee as a capital, then you have to look the performance factor of employee, the position control, or the onboarding or the capability, the training part, okay, the skill set, motivation factor. All these factors are job satisfaction. All these part are related to the human capital management. Okay, and that factors are analyzed through HR analytics. Basically, HR analytics is a combination of machine learning and the statistical modules like R programming, Python. Okay, different algorithms, statistical methods, and they perform some different operations on the data and provide such a data which is specific data, you can say, that will help your top level management to take a decision. Because whatever the output is coming from HRIS or HRMS, complete integrated system, it's not that much a detailed report, but whatever the report is coming from HR analytics, it is a more relevant information on which basis the top level management are able to take the decision. So as I said, the example, like most of the HRMS softwares are coming with HR analytics, are integrated inside that HRMS software, okay, which gives you the detailed analytical analysis of your HR data, and that helps you to take a decision. For example, attrition rate is more in your organization. So why the attrition rate is more? For that you required various input, okay, and that input is provided to the HRMS software, and the analytic module inside that HRMS software will analyze that data by applying some statistical analysis, okay, and gives you some statistical calculation that this percentage or this factor is more affecting your attrition rate, okay, like your job satisfaction, okay, affecting the attrition rate of your employee. Your employees are not that much satisfied, okay, that's why the people are leaving. So then you can apply some interventions, like you will update your reward management strategy or compensation strategy, or you can provide increase more sound culture, culture change in your organization. By applying such type of interventions, you can solve that problem. So this is the use of technology in workforce planning and how it's impact workforce planning. So most of the statistical tool helps to predict the future workforce. As I said, the types of analytics, there are descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, then your predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics. These are the category of your data analytics. How you are analyzing the data. Descriptive is nothing but your historical data. What is your performance, workforce, recruitment and selection last year, last 5 years. Okay, that is a descriptive nature, historical data. Diagnostic data is nothing but you are diagnosing your current situation. What are your current processes, and how many the workforce or the employees working on in current processes, on current processes. That is your predictive is in the sense after 5 years how many employees you require. If your organization is growing with 5% rate, then you have to increase your capacity, whether you have to increase your capacity workforce employee hiring, okay, with increase your employee hiring with 5% or 10%. It's totally depend upon your workforce planning and the predictive analysis. Prescriptive analysis is nothing but the action that you are taken to deal with that prediction. If you require 100 employees after 5 years, so what are the measures that you are taken? That is nothing but the prescription, whether that actions are up to mark to achieve that 100 employee target. That analytics tells you whether you are on the right track or not. So this is the category of analytics and how analytics are impacting your workforce planning and overall HR strategy. So I think we are running with our time. Okay, I will only just show you what we'll cover in next lecture. I want to cover this in this session only, but due to time barrier, I'm not able to cover. Okay, let it be. We'll go slowly, but in detailed manner. We'll cover in next lecture the strategic workforce planning, the 6 phases, that is strategic, supply, demand, gap, solution, and monitoring. And we'll go with the toolkit. Okay, these are the different toolkit that will help you to design your customized workforce plan for your organization. Okay, I will brief you in detail what is this in upcoming session. okay, customer, okay, all this toolkit that I will explain you today. After completion of session, I will share all this toolkit with you. You refer this toolkit and try to understand, okay, what is there in this toolkit, and step by step how you are going to implement it for framing the workforce planning. Just I'm showing you what are there in the toolkit, and I will attach this with the in class Google Classroom, that will get a detail. Step by step will I will explain this concept and finally create strategic workforce plan. That's it from my side for today's session. Okay, I'm just closing the PPT.
Okay, sir.
And just a minute. Slow. Wait. Yeah. So okay. So this is for today's session. Just I want a quick recap on what you learned today from my volunteers. Those who are two volunteers that we have selected for today's session. And after that, we'll start with our group discussion session. I think we are having only 15 minutes time. I request volunteers to take only 5 minutes time to explain in short what you learned. Okay, please start. Ranjit, and the second one is, I just forgot the name.
Bhushan.
Please. One by
Yes.
one, please.
So I will cover up first half, and Bhushan will cover up second half. So in first half, we have learned about the strategies like related issues, company strategies and HR strategies. So here, like we have also learned about the what is the corporate strategy and business strategy. Corporate strategy is nothing but a group strategy, and business strategy is nothing but a own strategy. Here, every departmental strategy called as a company strategy. And also we have learned about the priority strategies of like we have some points here: the innovation, brand, price, and design quality. For example, if there is an for Apple, there is an like they have the priority strategies like
Your voice is not audible. Ranjit,
I guess he got dropped.
okay, Bhushan, you carry on. Enjoy.
Hello, myself Bhushan.
hello.
Ranjit, join.
Yeah, Ranjit got back.
Now you can hear me.
Please, Ranjit, complete your.
Hello?
Yeah. Yes, you are
Yeah,
audible.
so we are at priority strategies. So here I will explain about that like innovation is design and quality. So example for Apple brand, there is a their priority strategy is innovation and design. And after that, we have covered up about the linking strategies of the companies and company and departmental strategy. Here in company strategies like strategic challenges, strategic price, business objectives and competitive advantages, company visions, and after the HR strategies, there key functions, recruiting, development, communication, and layoffs. And in between, there is an employees strategies like competitions, motivations, commitments, values, and variety of that. And after that, we have learned about that functions of the core functions and the support function of the organization. For example, we are if there is a service industry, then their core function is in marketing or service support, and their supportive function is in like uh, logistics and facility securities and production and public relation communications. And after that we have learned about the factors determining workplace demand. There is an you have explained about then one triangle. It's an determined as a junior, professional, and the senior. In the professional, in the mid of that professional, there is an promotion out and promotion in. Also there is an like we are doing a hiring process also, like from external hiring, and there isn't some retirement turnover takes place in this in mid level of the this work demands. After that, like Bhushan will take care of summarize for the second half.
Hello, myself Bhushan. I will explain you about what is workforce planning. Workforce planning is basically it's a process of analyzing, forecasting, planning workforce supply and demand, accessing the gaps, and determining targeted talent management interventions. Basically, as you said in the Rancho meetings, workforce planning is the right number of people with the right competencies in the right job at the right time. Also, your just workforce planning is identifies a gap between the future needs of organization and the structure of an organization. Workforce of planning steps. It includes it's a define the future, analyze the current workforce, close the gap, it monitor, evaluate, and revise. What is the purpose of workforce planning? The purpose of workforce planning is to reduce the cost by helping the management, which reduces shortage, also reduce the surplus of human resource. So we can select the reduced cost of depending upon what you require. There are such a required of human resource or not. Also provide purpose is that provide better basis for planning employment development. It also improves the overall business planning process. The purpose also provides more opportunities for women, male, female. Also, you have given the example of Article 15. In this, we have treat all minority level as equal. So based on caste, don't differ in anything. So we have to treat equally. After that, why do workforce planning is required? Because this requires for the right people, right skills, with the right place at the right time. Because why we require this is to achieve the company's organization mission. After that, we see the need for additional labor. Basically, workforce planning helps to ensure the organization fulfill business plans for future in terms of basically objectives. We have to see the output goals, our technology and resource requirements. After that, you just studied alignment between the business and human resource planning. The size of organization workforce should be based on its business plans. Every organization should have there are three different levels of resource planning: long-term range planning, middle range planning, and short-term. Long-term range is planning for 10 years, middle range for 5 years, and short-term range is for 1 to 2 years. In long-term planning, we have for it comes under top management level. It's strategic impact for many years. We have studied in long-term management at SWOT analysis of an organization. We have to check what is the strength of an organization, what is the weakness. In weakness, you have to check what is the culture of an organization, what is the quality of product, and in opportunity, we have to see what are the new opportunity which can come for next 5 to 10 years. You have given the example of their Geo. In Geo, I think they are for last before 10 to 15 years, they are just studying the Geo fiber optics. So now into fiber optics, they are good, and they are just we can just see the share price of the Geo. They are daily increasing as of now. In threats, you have just mentioned that the environmental threats, legal threats, the threats of basically in chemical companies. We are just importing raw material from China, and India's government has blocked the China. So it is impacting all the chemicals companies to importing material from China. Its long-term ranging is a very risky in nature, and which is not in control. After that, middle range of planning for 5 years. The categories of employees basically requirement. You are given the example that you requirement of 100 people, but giving the advertisement of only 10 to people. So we are selecting we are giving not only selecting 100 people, we are selecting 10 to 15. After that, we will as of required, we will select that people. And short-term planning basically it is for 1 to 2 years. it is required as a developing of performance goals. Basically, it's depend upon our annual operating plan. We will decide. So it is short term. After that, we studied workflows planning and HR activities. Workforce planning is important because it's influence almost all the other active activities, including job analysis, recruitment, selection, training and development, and career and management. After that, we studied technology and workforce planning. In workforce planning, we have studied the three processes: human resource information systems, human capital in management system, human resource management system. Which in human resource management, so human HRMS is a basically broader level, and HRIS is a smaller. Because example you have taken that is leave. We have taken the leave exam. HRIS includes absence management, self-service, recruiting, training and development, compensation management, personal training, workflows, and benefits administration. HCM, which includes human capital, it's an employee performance. It adds value to the organization. Basically, it considers performance factors, skill sets, job satisfaction, job profiles, and HR. And HRMS is basically time and labor management. It's and also payroll assessing. So that is from my side.
Okay. Thank you, Bhushan. Ranjit, thanks for your detailed summarizing of lecture. Great. So now the forum is open for group discussion session. So our group discussion session is just what is our title? Can anybody tell? What is our group discussion topic?
HR challenging after COVID-19.
Okay. With respect to
With respect to manpower
Service and
planning.
manufacturing.
Manufacturing and service sector. So so
Yes.
this is the topic. Now forum is open. You can discuss based on your organization experience. 20 minutes time I will give you. Okay, and I will play a role of a facilitator. Okay. Okay. Start. Please introduce the topic and then start the discussion. Yes, anybody, please. I don't want to take any name. Anuja is there?
Sir, this is Charles.
Yes, okay.
It has impacted the recruitment process.
Firstly, tell about your organization, which sector.
So my organization is a service industry.
You can just talk about it now.
Yes. So we are providing services to the clients, manpower in terms of technical and technical services. So we hire as per the requirement of client. So it has the recruitment process has been impacted due to this current situation. We are not able to hire manpower on mass basis. Then the training process is also impacted. We are not able to provide training, conduct training programs. So this has shifted to online training. The impact of this online training is that we cannot have interaction with the associates. Group activity cannot be done. Group discussion cannot be done. Also, it has impacted the exit formalities. Because if any employee is resigning, so they are not able to hand over the assets, company assets, which is delaying their F&A process.
Anybody else? Please discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your forum. Yeah.
Charles, I have one question about your organization. See, like you said that training is a bit difficult right now, but the same thing which we are having in our, like we are going through the MBA, right? So, what difficulties are you facing in training?
Difficulties in the sense, Saurabh, see, the group training which we conduct, there are many activities which are part of the training,
Okay.
which we are not able to conduct that. There are activities, we provide activities in the training.
Maybe there were classroom sessions which were happening and they are not able to do now.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
Yeah.
Right,
maybe
right,
maybe
complete.
there should be some turnarounds over there, right? So that it
But
may
don't you think social distancing, we are not
see,
able to?
I'm not talking about like training or something like that. You can go for like a video presentation or something like that, which might help them to understand how to or understand the trainings which the tutors want to tell.
So that only we have done now. We have shifted from classroom to online training.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, this is Kalpesh here. I work in Nugam Solutions, and we are into the primary data research. And now, just before the COVID has started, we were looking to accelerate ourselves in the secondary market, secondary data research, which is a purely analytical domain. So we were developing a skill set, and we hired a lot of trainers for that. But right now, with the code situations, things have changed. So rather than we let go all the technical guys who we are hired for the trainings and all, like not hired, actually we partnered with them. But the now situation is we have been tied up with our Great Lake Institute and some other online portal which will help us to develop those skills, which already have the video classroom setups, mentoring session set up on every weekends and all of those stuff. So that's one of our initiative came from the HR perspective, like in terms of training and learning and development of the skills.
Uh,
Hello, my name is Kamlesh, and I currently work with Accenture. So the which major problem I think from the HR perspective, which I can see, or which I have faced, is that the reskilling or the redeployment of resources. So as the because of the COVID, many of our clients have stopped their operations, so they don't need the IT support or the SAP support which we work on. So they have asked Accenture to reduce the cost. So the simple way is to reduce the resources. Now these resources are idle, sitting idle. So to manage those resources, which include senior guys and senior managers, even the junior, it's a huge mountain of tasks in front of them. And to make everyone happy in their current role and simultaneously giving them average hikes also. So this is the major issue which I think most of the IT companies are also facing, and especially what I have faced in Accenture.
Saurabh here. Okay. Post COVID, what my company is trying to analyze is that how to like the how to manage time firstly. So and another parts are but how to like and how to balance your life as well as your work at the same point. Another point is how to avoid unwanted stress where you usually start procrastinating yourself like uh, some of the points are like you don't have inadequate resources like time, money and skill. Then there is no passion for work, no clear deadlines, fear of failure, then distractions, no perfections, tasks are like overwhelming. So how do you avoid all these particular things? My HRs are planning for that how a how a employee can give his 100% towards the work while he is sitting at home working from home. Okay, so these are the challenges which HR is facing. Then another points are how to identify which resources are are purely working in this particular situation and which are just uh, like showing off that they are working but actually they are not. So that is the main task of HR to identify which resources are really useful to the company and which are not. So that is very hard to understand at this particular situation. Another thing is what productivity a person can provide in this situation is another part. Like when you are like at home, you have lot of things going around. When you are in office, there is something, the environment is something else. So how you are supposed to manage your both balance your personal life as well as your official life is the main task of HRs to understand how to give how the work allocation should be there in this particular situations. So that is what it is going on. It's in the
So,
planning.
Saurabh,
Yeah.
are they successful in balancing that? Because as Accenture,
See,
we are failing miserably in that main balance.
See, now what happens, what happened is they have conducted 2 to 3 training sessions for everyone, okay, for all grades. And there is something known as time management. That is, they have casted it as like time earned and time saved. So how do you utilize your time? Then how do you, what are the different techniques for time management? So one of that is your this thing, if you have heard about it, then there is something known as Pomodoro technique. So by utilizing that, how a person will be like interactive with your company and his himself, like why he's not, you should not get stressed out while working. See, mostly what we do is, if we are working in some kind of implementation or development project, what we do is we just keep on working and we get stressed out at some point, if you got stuck at some place. So that is what happens in our stage. So how to overcome this situation? See, in when we are in office, what we do is we just take a small break. We go for tea, go for like a smoke break or something likewise. But now what happens is there is nothing kind of tea breaks or something. Everything you have to come get at your computer table and just eat or have tea or something likewise. But now how to overcome all these situations is the main part. And not 100%, but maybe you can say 60% is like they are successful in this. They are trying their best to give. Then another thing is, like sir said, how to like motivate the employees. So what my company did is they are giving us extra allowances, like named as COVID internet expenses. So that is the most important thing, which is like boosted most of the morale of employees. It is not a big amount, but see, uh, it's like giving something for nothing. So you are utilizing your internet, and companies like extending his arm to give you some kind of this thing amount. So it is like motivation for us, right? See, amount.
Great, yeah, great. It's happening. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not happening in our organization. Hope it happens soon.
Yeah. See, amount doesn't matter. What matters is their approach towards the employee. That is what matters.
Yes, yeah, correct. Agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Any more? Any from manufacturing sector?
Yes, sir, this is Swapnil. We are in construction chemical industries. We are providing services to construction activities such as Larsen and Toubro, Tata Realties, other thing. Currently, we have a problem of laborers. All the laborers who are from Bihar, Odisha, or West Bengal, they all are moved to their native places, and we are facing major issues for this labor crunches. Post COVID, maybe that labor will come or not come, that we don't know. But our HR are thinking for the giving them perks, giving them flight tickets, coming back here and start their work as early as possible. But it is a major crunch in the construction industry. This migrant worker need to be there at site as early as possible.
Okay. Anybody more? Anybody else want to put that thought on for the of their experience from manufacturing sector, from service sector?
Hello, sir. Mohit here.
Yes.
So
Yes.
basically, I work in Yes Bank. So presently, HR is doing one thing where you don't have to travel much, and whoever are traveling, and basically they are providing extra buses. So because presently government have allowed 30%, and bank is a sector which can never close. So the buses have been provided who are not able to work from home and who don't have a VPN access and all. So the buses are provided so they can come to the office, and the social distancing wins because once I visited office for few of my documents should be collected. So what they have done, they have sealed alternate chairs so that everyone can keep the social distance, and everyone should have lunch and dinner. There was lunch on their desks, so canteen are closed for that purpose. So small way to keep the social distance as well as uh, safety in our organization.
Yes.
Okay.
So
One more point I came across in my HR in organization, working Lookup Solutions this year again. So the leaves policy, ideally speaking, the organization need to manage the employees' leaves as well, because probably down the line when COVID is over and probably people things are back to normal, people will start taking the leaves, and then there's a lot of business impact due to this. So what these guys have started, they have even allowed, like they have been asking in managers meeting about, hey guys, are you planning your leaves of your employees? So in some cases where we have not much of a work, we've been asked people to uh, paid leave, it's a paid leave. So to be at home, enjoy with your family, and right kind of a thing. So that's another initiative that we started where employees leave management policy has been managed better in this scenario.
Kalpesh, how they are doing that leave management?
Probably they are reaching out to managers asking about it, like you need to ensure you manage your team's leaves accordingly. And in our weekly meeting, manager ask us to like, hey guys, do you need any leaves for this week, upcoming week, for next month or so? So the
Okay,
things, because we all,
they are approaching employees to take leaves or something likewise.
yes. It was
That's a
other way
nice.
around earlier, no? We
Yeah,
reached to write reach to our managers and all.
that's a nice
Then,
initiative. But
yeah.
yes. Anybody else?
Sir, myself Bhushan. I'm working in Alkala Mines. We are into specialty chemicals, and we are from when Corona started. Since that, our company is working up to now, and we are facing a lot of issues regarding manpower. But initially, when Corona started, they have government has only 10% of staff. So what our company does that only one person has in every department. Or basically in mechanical we have to arrange one person, engineering electrical have one person. So accordingly we have segregated, and in our bus arrangement also there. So we have to sit alternately. First seat, second seat empty. So likewise we have to make an arrangement. And as of also dinner also lunch also separate in different cabins also there. So lot of things. Also we in recruitment process, if we have to select if a employee is selected, then what our company does that provide some hotel sources, make in quarantine for 7 days. After that, we are providing the person for two lunch, dinner all over the hotel. After that, he will join to our company. So we are very much taking care of our employee selection also. And in our company also there are a lot of temperature guns also there. They are daily checking of persons who are coming in the company. Every workers we are company we are checking. So that's
Okay, great, Bhushan. Anuja is there. Anita, Anuja, Karishma, Manoj.
Yes, sir, Karishma.
Karishma, you want to put any thought process?
Sir, as Kalpesh told, their managers are reaching out for them for taking leaves. And our managers are have told us that all the leaves will be cancelled for this year. We will be getting no leaves after everything is normal. So that is what we have been told from our managers.
So, guys, if you are just carefully listening all the point of view of your personal experience of your organization, you just concluding that how the this pandemic is impacting your HR policies in different angle. Like HR policies are the compensation, reward management, recruitment, then your workforce planning, your training and development. So the mostly the heated, the function or the department during COVID is the HR department. So it's very difficult because it's directly impacted because it's a human disease made by human beings only. Might be it is a natural or human, but it's transmitted through human to human. So human factor comes at a center point, and that human beings are working in organizations. So the human related policies, processes, all they are get affected. So in upcoming days, you'll see lots of new policies related to work-life balance, compensation, reward management, new job roles will come into exist. Uh, if you see in manufacturing sector, the automation will get increased. The manufacturing sector will, try to decrease their dependability on, on manpower. They will invest in automation like AI, IoT concepts, and in service sector, as you said, there is a drastic change will happen in the policies. Labor laws will get amended. So lots of things are going to see in upcoming days. Okay, in within 1 to 2 years. So so just carefully as you are studying this subject, carefully understand the concepts. How till now, till pre-COVID, how these processes are there in organization, and post-COVID, what will be the impact? Because what is my objective to discuss at the end of the session is that we have to get detail analysis of our chapter or the topic on which we are taking a lecture. I'm taking a lecture that I want to just show you that post COVID what will be the situation, and that situation can be explained by better by you only, not me, because already you're working in organization environment, and you have that direct impact of COVID-19, and that you can just share that your personal experience during this group discussion on various processes. Okay, in upcoming days also, the GD topic will be on COVID only. Okay, what will be only the process will get changed, and you have to analyze each process. Okay, with your organization context, what is happening, and for that you have to just talk with your managers, talk with your peer, the colleagues. Okay, what will happen in recruitment selection, what will happen in compensation, what will happen in reward management, engagement, training and development. Okay, so you have to just closely observe your organization processes. That is the main intention. And when you start your mini project, at that time you have to choose one topic, as I just mentioned in that Google Classroom. You have to choose any one of the topic as per your interest, and start working on it. I will just share the template for it, how just what are the chapters will be there in your mini projects. Okay, and accordingly you start working on it, and your mini project it should be the based on your organization experience. That's it. It's not that you have to go outside or search on internet. You have to observation study of your organization process that you are selecting for your mini project. Okay. So we'll conclude for today's session, and I request you please involve in more uh, interactively during group discussion. A few people are interacting. Okay, but I require most of you involved in discussion, and just try to share your experience, your organization processes, what the change is happening in your organization. Okay, that's it. Thank you guys for today's session. If you have any doubt, you can ask me on WhatsApp group, or you can put question on Google Classroom also. Okay, that's it. Any question till now? I'm available for answering it, or we'll conclude for today's session.
No questions from my end, sir.
Okay. Thank you, guys, all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.